Hello and welcome to my second review video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Vanguard Warden, classified as a heavy fighter. I'm going to be making 3 points with this ship. First one is going to be its health and overall body when it comes to the shields. Second one is going to become the weapons and its firepower. And the third one is going to be its components and the interior. Let's go ahead and start off with the health points and its shield. So, with the Vanguard Warden, it is classified as a heavy fighter. It does have a base health point as 25,200, with total shields base 43,752. It does have 0 cargo capacity, so you cannot carry any cargo. You might be able to do delivery missions if you're able to put the box inside, which it does have the room on the inside for that. The quantum speed is 84.19. which does get you to Hurston and back from Olisar in about 8.5, almost 9 minutes. With that, you can make the trip 2 or 3 times because you do have quantum fuel at 2,500. And that looks to be the body and health points. Now let's talk about the speed. Its normal speed is about 169, max speed of 1,116. Yaw rate limit 54. Pitch rate limit of 54, and a roll rate limit of 108. This thing, as it's classified as a heavy fighter, and it is kind of a big ship, it does actually move pretty agile. It's a pretty agile ship, I'll give you that. And its speed, normally 169, that's like if you keep it at a very base speed, which is fine. It does good at that speed, obviously. But you can definitely push it to its limits at about 265, 268 in atmosphere on like the planet Daymar, which I'm on currently. Now, let's go ahead and move over to the weapons. The weapons on this ship, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and move forward to the ship here. You got 2 missile payloads on the top and 2 missile payloads on the bottom. I'll go ahead and zoom in for reference. On the top, you got the 2 missile payloads. These are size 2 on the top right and left. Now, you can close those bays if you turn off your missile on your MFD. There's an option to turn your missiles off. Once you do that, those will close those bays and make them flush with the ship, so the missiles will not be there anymore. On the bottom, you do have 2 size 3s on each wing. Now, to list off which weapons those are, on the bottom, you have the size 3 weapons, or missiles, I apologize, the Arrestor 3s. And then on the top, you have the Ignite 2s and the Dominator 2s. So, it's a pretty good missile payload. The missile payload itself does come out to an approximate damage of about 47,193. That's approximately if you actually hit on all missiles. And a total count of 12 missiles. So your replenishment cost is going to be around $1,000 just for the missiles itself. Now, on the front here, you only have 2 guns that the pilot has full control over. And that's going to be the 4 laser cannons on the front, which supposedly in 3.7, when that releases, there's going to be different options to replace that with. So if you don't like those, you're going to have possibly 3 other options, but they're not going to be gimbaled, so they are going to be fixed like it is now. And those weapons on the front of the Vanguard Warden at this current time are the MVSA laser autocannons. And then below it, you have a size 5 gimbal with a size 4 Revenant ballistic Gatling gun, which does approximately 672 DPS. Now, if you take away the gimbal, you can put a size 5 gun there, which, if you prefer fixed over gimbal, that is a very good option, because it definitely does increase your, DPS. On the top, you do have a turret with SW-16BR2 Sawbuck guns. Now, these guns, they're okay. They run out of ammo quickly, so they're not something that you can really count on. They run out of ammo very quickly, so they don't really do too much for you. Now, to go down the line with these weapons here, the Sawbucks have approximate range of 2,100 meters. The laser autocannon's approximate range is about 2,000 meters, and the Revenant ballistic cannon is at 3,700 meters. So, you got all sorts of different ranges here. The first thing you're going to hit your target with is more likely the gun, the minigun on the bottom. And then you're going to hit them with the lasers. But that's a fixed weapon, so you kind of can't... if you're running gimbal and you got fixed, it just makes it a little bit of a struggle sometimes. And then, you know, if you have a turret gunner, great. If you don't, it honestly doesn't make too much of a difference. And then you're going to probably put your missile payload to use. Now, as you can see on the front of the ship, its most profound feature is the glow of the intakes and its engines. Currently, I do not have the engines on, so the glow, honestly, in my opinion, do not make sense, and I'd prefer the glow not to be there unless the engines were active. But that's probably just my opinion. Otherwise, she is a very good-looking ship. Right now, her wings are folded in because the gear are down. As you can see, the front gear are all, you know, tire and wheel, and then the back gear are tracked. I'm not sure if that's going to have any functionality to it in the future. Now, this ship is classified as a heavy fighter, and what that means, it is going to be an escort ship. It is supposed to be escorting, like, you know, you can escort a carrier, you can escort Caterpillar, long distances. This is not a ship that you'd go from OSR to an R&R, to another R&R, to another R&R. Even though you could, it's meant to be able to make that one jump from OSR to Hurston, or Hurston to whatever, or from a system to another system. You know what I mean? So it's meant for that purpose, and the interior kind of spells that a little bit too. Even though the interior is a little disappointing, and we're going to get into that next. Let's go ahead and move on into the interior so we can talk about the systems. As I do move around the ship here, you can take a look at some of its features. It's not a bad looking ship. She is pretty big. So for her being as agile as she can be, that's pretty cool. I like that. As you can see, the wings are tucked in there on the side, and I will demonstrate what it looks like with the wings out. You have a bunch of maneuvering thrusters on the rear here, tucked underneath, and also underneath the main engines. She is quite a good-looking ship. Here is the two maneuvering thrusters here. You got another maneuvering thruster here, two more here, and then vice versa. She's pretty symmetrical, so that's always good. Now, one thing I will say about the exterior and the interior is that everything is hover text. You know, you don't have buttons, you don't have anything you can really press, so that does kind of get in the way a lot of the times and is quite frustrating. So I can open my door pretty easily, but when it comes down to closing it, a lot of the times I'll, you know, okay, good, that's fine. I've closed the door. But now to open this door, right now I would open the ramp if I tried again. So I gotta really hug my door here to open that up since it doesn't automatically open. Now, to go back here, you have your quantum drive. All access points in this ship are readily available, not like most ships right now. Since this ship was just recently reworked, they have made that a possibility, which is really cool. So you can see a lot of your components, even though you can't do anything with them yet, it's still a pretty cool feature. Let's go ahead and shut this door. When you first walk in, you got a nice hallway that presents to you. On the right, you have a bathroom, a mirror that doesn't show your reflection. You got some areas to put your toothpaste and stuff, you know, some hand sanitizer or soap. You got, you know, some storage underneath. You got yourself a nice toilet. That's pretty nice. You got a med kit, and then hot, cold. You got your nice, you know, rain shower head here. Really be hugging that to get any water on you, but that's fine. Behind you, you have a full kitchen. Nothing like making your coffee and grabbing your assault rifle at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, gotta go. So this isn't the dropship variant, this is the heavy fighter variant, but either way, it's good to see that you do have a munitions locker, and you can fit approximately 4 assault rifles in here, maybe a couple handguns. You got some area for maybe put some like ammo boxes down here, some assault rifles up here, sniper rifles, whatever you prefer. And then, of course, you got some storage for your mid-flight activities, like your peanuts or your coffee, whatever you prefer. It's not much of a kitchen, though. You're not going to be doing much with this, so for it to be a long-distance thing, it's kind of a shame what you got presented to you. Over here, you got yourself an engineer station. This can be used to further help the pilot with activities like shields, power, all sorts of systems. So if you ever, you know, feel like the pilot, which, you know, needs any assistance, which is great, you can definitely give them a hand here. That's always a good little option. Now, on the right here, you have a storage container with a crossbar here, so you can definitely hang up some clothes, which will be nice. And then over here, I'm attached to this again. Let's go ahead and get back out of that. Now over here you got what's called avionics access. To me, it just looks like more storage, which more than likely it will be, but then again, it could be also some more components that just aren't in the game quite yet. I feel like there is some wasted space here. You have your 2 beds, which is great because it is a long-distance fighter with a turret on top, and then also your pilot, so it's always good to have 2 beds. This ship does seem like it is a 3-role ship, though. You have a pilot, engineer station, and a turret, so it's kind of like the turret gunner is going to be doing one thing or the other, and if he's gunning, he can't be helping the pilot. Hopefully the pilot can handle all MFDs. It depends on the battle. And then, which is great. For a long-distance fighter, you have no tables, no chairs, no nothing. You don't have any pop-out chairs that come out from the sides here. You can sit down, enjoy your little meal or whatever. You don't really have anything that comes out, which is kind of a bummer. You got a lot of floor space, just like the Constellation. Maybe you can have a little table pop out with a chair or something. That'd be kind of cool. Obviously, there's not a lot of space, but I just feel like if you're going to be doing some distance escorting with this, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some comfort, especially if you have the beds. I mean, you could always eat in bed, but you know what they say, don't eat laying down. You're going to choke. Last thing you want to do is choke in the middle of space. It's just always a bad idea. On the top here, you do have security cameras, which is interesting. I'm wondering, who's going to have access to those and why you need them. This isn't a prisoner transport ship, so that's an interesting feature that they added just for the aesthetic appeal. Maybe. It looks interesting. It looks pretty decent or cool, whatever you want to say. Once again, reflection's not showing. I must be a vampire. But yeah, hopefully they'll add some sort of functionality to those in the future. I'm not sure the purpose of it, though. Over here, you got more storage access here underneath the stairs. This would be cool to put like a delivery box if you could. Not quite yet. Over here, you got more avionics, like the shield generator. The shield generator, the power plant, and that's repeated on this side as well. Now on this side you don't have any access point here, but on the other side you do. Let me go ahead and close these up. Over here you have what would be called life support with nothing in there, so we're all going to die. Man, let me go ahead and close this door. I like that you can close these doors, but I wish there was more of a button to do so instead of this hover text, because it can be kind of fidgety. So once they add the buttons, that'll be definitely really nice. Over here, cooling modules. So the pilot's going to be freezing his ass off the entire time he's flying, which is kind of nice, I guess. I mean, you're already in space. How much colder do you want to be? As I said before, you can access all these module points and everything, which is pretty cool. The ship's got a lot of detail to it, pretty decent. Now, over here, you got the pilot seat. Let's go ahead and hop into that pilot seat and take a look at the MFDs. Spin around. As you can see, you have a total of 4 MFDs on the bottom here. You got your radar. I had my... There we go. I don't remember turning my ship off, but that's fine. As you can see, you got a lot of buttons, a lot of MFDs. Well, only 4. You do have the radar on the front here. On the right, you got your engine on and off switch. You got the open exterior and the press to unlock. On the left, you got your power switch. And that's pretty much, when it comes down to the buttons, all you have. Then you got your MFDs, which they're okay. Standard position like this, if you don't have any sort of head tracking device, 2 of your bottom MFDs can be kind of cut off a little bit. You do require a little head movement just to make sure you're getting all the information you need, which overall your viewing is not bad. When it comes down to it, the turret view is much worse than this ship's view here. It's not bad though. You don't seem to have any sort of ejection feature on this ship, even though it looks like you would have some sort of you got a red lever here, you got a red lever up here. Obviously that lever would be hard to hit for an ejection. You don't have anything going on up here. So at this time there is no ejection on this, which is fine. It is what it is. Now, before we move on from the taking off standpoint real quick, let me just head to the turret just to show you what that view looks like, because I don't want to forget that. Okay, I got instantly transferred into the turret. That's something new. Never happened to me before. Probably because I tried to access it and then moved around. Either way, let's go ahead and power this sucker on. Alright, let me go ahead and get out of the turret seat. As you can tell, that was an interesting little glitch. So let me try that again and see what happens. The power on the ship should still be on, so I'm not sure if... Okay, so let's try that again. As you can see, that's interesting. I've really never had that happen to me before. And it doesn't look like I'm having any access to... Yeah, I'm not having any access to my systems right now in the turret. So, that's always good. Oh, there we go. Ah, got it. Maybe it had to like fake like it was running the system. So, as you can see, it's kind of glitchy. The turret doesn't have much of a great field of view. You know, it is running the sawbucks. Let's switch that fire mode. Now we're staggered. So your field of view is very limited to the front here. If I were to press F, you can look to your left and your right, but as you can see, you don't have any room for, you know, looking around. So that's kind of a bummer, especially when you're trying to look down. So like right now, right here's the front of the ship. You cannot see the nose of your ship at all. You don't, I mean, how do I know if I'm shooting here, I'm just not blowing apart my own ship? You know what I mean? Because obviously you shouldn't be, because it should have its own safeguards against that, but it's just still kind of a bummer that you don't have a better view with it being a turret. I understand the need for having it armored like it is, but I think as a turret it definitely needs a better view than that. So to finish up this review, let's get into the pilot seat. Let's fly it around for a moment and show you what she's like. I'm going to take her up. I'm going to show you how she looks with her wings extended and let you know what my review score of this ship is. Honestly, I think it's a great ship when it comes down to its health and shields. Its weapons are in dire need of attention, as it is... Let me let the engine spool. I always love that initial just kick. So she is a pretty weak ship when it comes to her weapons. She can obviously put up a fight because of how much shield and health pool she has, but she just... I think it's severely lacking in weapon department when you can buy a Freelancer MIS right now while it's on sale for much cheaper, and that probably has a better weapon outfit. Actually, it does have a better weapon outfit. More missiles, you know, 2.5 times as many missiles, and you can carry cargo on that ship. This ship, honestly, it's lacking in several areas. So let's go ahead and fly it. I'll show you. Let me get the cruise control up to a high speed here. And as you can see, the wings are now extended because the gear are up. She's a good looking ship, but she definitely has its pros and cons. As you can see, she does have some drag to her, so when you're turning, she kind of has that tail whip going on, which you don't want to bring this heavy fighter down this close to the planet with that. If you're facing something like an Arrow or a Gladius in these tight of canyons, you are going to be outmaneuvered. Not to say you can't maneuver with her down here and you can't do some good things. It's just you're not really, you're not nearly as maneuverable as your light fighters out there, and you will whip around these corners at a very slow pace. So with boost going, you're hitting about 350 to 360. Without the boost, you're staying steady at about 266. And that's running it over the red line, so always be aware of that. Now to make a full stop, I'm letting go of the acceleration. It came to a steady stop at a pretty decent pace, so that's good. Let me go ahead and turn around. Now what I'm going to do is try to see how quickly I can turn her around. That was pretty decent. She turned around pretty quickly, which is always good. Sure, the tail whip wasn't as relevant there when you're just trying to make a, you know, go just turn around in a very quick fashion. Obviously, it's there. So as you can see, she definitely flies pretty decently. she she's not as agile as you would think. Well, honestly, she's a big ship, so I mean, I don't know how agile you're looking for her to be. But in the end, I feel this ship deserves a 6 out of 10. Now, I give it a 6 out of 10 just for its longevity when it comes down to its flight capability. It has a great looking interior. It could be a little better. There's some pointless little details that look cool, but I don't really see the point of it. It definitely needs more functionality when it comes to like actual buttons for these doors and stuff. So that's good. And then when it comes down to it, the flight itself, it's a good flyer. She moves pretty nice in space. She still has a tail whip. She's not as agile as a lot of light fighters, but she is a heavy fighter. Please remember that. She does have a turret. Her weapons are very lackluster, and that's where the big point drop-off is. That's where I would hit her the most, is the weapons, because for a heavy fighter, I get that you don't want an overpowered machine in this game. You don't need something that has it all, but you can't expect someone to be happy with an 810 Warhog with that its primary gun. You know what I mean? This thing is built around that nose cannon, and yet that nose cannon just doesn't do it justice. So I'd go with the 6 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you let me know, what you'd like to see next, you might see that one next. Appreciate your time. Thank you. You have a great day.